Okay, cool. Okay, so we are live. All right, everyone who's joining us, hello, welcome. This is kind of the first big thing that the Wales Women Fan Trust is doing. So I'm Megan Faringa. I'm from Welsh Football Fans. I'm joined by Di Reese from Coleman Had a Dream. Hi, Di.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really looking forward to this. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I think it's an opportunity for us to finally get over that barrier and see if we can qualify for a tournament.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be the absolute best chance that we've got. So, really, really excited. So, for those of you who are joining us, we are going to go through the Women's World Cup draw that is about to happen at any point when UEFA stop playing this video. But it's very cool. So, be kind of fun. But yeah, so we'll go through that. We'll talk a little bit more about what the Wales Women Fan Trust is, sort of what our goals and our aims are to try to bring more light and more visibility to the women's game, especially in Wales. So yeah, really excited. Di,
Yes.
what are you most excited about when it comes to draws, when it comes to World Cup draws? Like, what do you think of first when you think of World Cup draws?
Do you know what? It's funny you should say that. I have two things that came straight to mind. The first thing is obviously the excitement about everything else, but a lot of it is just the back and forth with people. Like, where are we going to go? Can we make this trip? Is that one going to happen? Like, I think that's something I'm really excited about. And I remember when I was younger, like, I think it must have been for the 2008, maybe, or 2006 World Cup. I remember that we drew England. I remember being so excited that we'd drawn England because I thought, like, at that time, Wales had a great team. We're like, oh, this is it. This is going to happen. We're finally going to beat them. And those are the two things that kind of stick out to me. And it just, I don't know. I think it's a clean slate, isn't it? It's starting again and a bit of excitement that's going to build. But I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to finally getting to go to some of these games because, like, all the games, I think, oh, okay, well, it's been a year now since all of us have gotten to actually see any sort of football
Yeah.
live, but some of these places that we could go, they look really, really fun. And if we qualify, Australia and New Zealand, I mean, come on, that's awesome.
Exactly. I wanted to go there for a while, so this seems like the perfect excuse, if you like, to come to it. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I'm hopeful that we'll get a good draw. Like, I think I want to have your thoughts on how you think we're going to go draw wise. Is there anyone that you're kind of mad keen to avoid?
The Netherlands, because Vivian Miedema is actually terrifying.
Yes.
She's amazing, but she stalks a pitch the way that a female lion goes to get food for her children. It's really terrifying, and she's big and she's powerful, and yet she's like like a little ballerina going across the pitch. I don't understand how she does it, but yeah, so she's amazing. The Netherlands, they were runners up to France at the last World Cup. That's definitely a team that I'm genuinely certain we need to avoid at all
Yeah,
costs.
I think the thing for her is as well, she kind of reminds me of Thierry Henry in a lot of ways, like in the way she moves. I always felt Thierry Henry ran like he wasn't really trying.
Yeah.
And she kind of has that sort of thing where she's so fast, like you say, so strong, has so much about her, but just seems graceful. Like it's just another day at the office to her, and I'm impressed by that. Personally, if we're going to get one of the big teams of Netherlands, France, Germany, England, I would prefer the Netherlands mainly because it means I can go and see it with relative ease. But
Because there's a little bit of selfishness in there, but I'll take it.
100%. But I think, yeah, I think those are the ones we definitely wanted to avoid. And I think the Danes showed that we showed against the Danes, that we are capable of getting something off them. So I think there's definitely something there. Italy as well, like had a good campaign for the Euros, but I think again, kind of fallible. The big thing with the Italians is they don't have like a star, I don't think.
Yeah.
The Danes obviously have harder, and every one of those other teams we've mentioned there has got kind of one standout, and I think, or lots of them and obviously lots of cases, especially the French, I think. But yeah, they're the ones who I don't think have like a standout player that we kind of need to keep an eye out for. So I think that's the one I would go for, either Italy or Denmark, really.
Yeah, and Italy is interesting because they were unbeaten at home, I think, for 5 years. And then Denmark came in and they sort of stopped that run. And then if I think about us playing Denmark, if we had like 4 or 5 more games of practice, getting into like really Gemma Granger sort of whole free-flowing football, I do think we could have, I mean, we drew with them, but I think we probably could have taken them a little bit more, and we might have even taken more points off. So yeah, I think Italy and Denmark, actually, I'd like to go for them.
I think especially with the Danes as well, like obviously, it was only Gemma Granger's second game in charge, but I would say, had the better chances that game. And I think that when they kind of look back at the goal we conceded, I think there'll probably be a lot of shaking heads, really, that was an avoidable goal. So I think, yeah, I definitely think we could have beaten them. And even the Norwegians, like, I know they've got some good players, but I would quite like to have another go at them, because
those games were frustrating. Yeah, like the final 20 minutes, we had it. Like, we genuinely could, and it was just one of those games where you knew the ball was not going to get to the back of the net, no matter if like you had put it there. It was going to find a way to come back out. And it was just so frustrating because every single chance we had it. But yeah, I think if we play more attacking, because the last 20 minutes, that's what we had done against Norway. And if we play the way that Gemma Granger's obviously trying to get Wales to play, I do think that we would take Norway all the way, which would just make me feel a little, it's like vindication.
Exactly. I'd be smug about that. I mean, speaking of the smugness, part of me would quite like to take Northern Ireland again from pot 3, I think.
Yes.
Just to have a chance at redemption. But I think equally, I was looking at that. I think I mentioned this before, that they, in that pot 3, there are so few teams actually in form, relatively speaking, at the moment. They've all had, on average runs. So I think, with the exception of the Czech Republic as well. So the Northern Irish and the Czech Republic are the two teams I think should be looking to avoid in that group.
Yeah, I was looking at Poland, Romania. None of them, I think neither of them is qualified for a major tournament. I think Ukraine as well. So they're kind of all in the same boat as us. But when I was looking at some of the teams that they were playing, they weren't playing Norway, Denmark, Canada. They were playing the ones in pot 4 and pot 5. So I think if we're playing these pot 1 teams doing decently, then going up against the pot 3 teams right then and there, if you play at the same level you are against pot 1, we're going to take those points. And if we can take those points, runner-up is in the bag for us, I think.
I hope so. And I think that is possibly even like just our minimum target would be the runner-up spot. I think if we do draw a Denmark or an Italy, I do really think we have a chance to top the group, which would be amazing. And like you say, you look at some of the groups that some of those teams had, there were kind of a lot of mismatched groups, I thought, for the Euros qualifiers. And I think there's definitely opportunities there for us, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to top the group maybe. And I mean, what an amazing achievement that would be for everyone concerned. Yeah,
especially with Northern Ireland getting in. Like, that was just, I'm so proud of them. I'm glad they did it. Like, from a, not selfish standpoint, from a selfish standpoint, I'm really upset. And that should be us. I just have like that song playing in my head. Like, that should be me. Like, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Again, I kind of glad for them, sure, hooray. But by the same token, yeah, that feels like a huge missed opportunity. And like, going back to the pots again, Ukraine definitely a beatable team in that pot. So yeah, it was just, there was definitely a little tinge when I saw the second leg kind of scores come through. Like I said, the first leg score come through. I watched the second game, and like I say, good for them, happy for them, buzzing. But it could have been us. I think that was the frustration.
Yeah, but I think again, the way that we're playing now, especially if we get Hayley Ladd back in. And then I think Megan too, she's back kind of getting to play as well, because she didn't get to sort of play with any of us. So I think if we get the two of them back in, and then Carrie Holland obviously is playing absolutely incredible, I really do think that this is 100%. Not 100%. I don't want to say that because I get nervous. I'm very confident. I'm very, very confident.
I see that. I think we need that confidence needs to spread and transfer, I think.
No, I think it's just being at the game. Like, the game was so much fun. Going to go watch them play against Denmark, there was just so much energy on that pitch, and it was hard not to get caught up in it.
No, I'm very jealous that you went to see that game, I got to say. There is one more thing I wanted to mention just before the draw starts, because I can see that the balls are out now, as it were. But if we do come into that runner-up spot, the convoluted way that the playoffs work this time is bonkers to me.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I was trying to read some of the notes that you'd sent me, and I was like, I genuinely have to write this out. So I had like lines going. It looked like a math experiment. It was wild.
Absolutely nuts. So if we come second, then the 6, I think it is, best second place teams go into one playoff, whilst the three best are kind of saved a day, and then there's another round of playoffs that they kind of go through if you've already qualified from the first round of playoffs.
Whew.
It is crazy. And from there, you can also go into the interconfederational playoffs, which is a new thing they've dreamed up that you'd have to win. Sorry, I think I should stop rambling now. I can see that the balls are coming out. The first ball. She is. I feel like I'm. This is a very bad version of doing a lottery or something. So Sweden are the first team out. I think I would take the Swedes.
Yeah, I take them. It's not. I mean, they're fifth, so it's like right in the middle. But I prefer something a little lower.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm about 5 or 10 seconds behind you.
Okay. Spain. Sorry, I'm ruining this for you. Spain may or may not have come out next. Sorry, Megan. It's the next one. Spain are another one I think I would quite like to avoid. They're in really good form recently.
I'd rather Sweden than Spain. Yeah.
Yes, 100%. I'd go with you on that.
Well, I don't like going through pot one first. This
is just making me nervous. I'm glad that we were talking about this before. I'm glad that they haven't got any of the stuff like we were talking about, all the stupid routines and stuff they do beforehand.
I was getting kind of excited.
Player interviews.
Well, yeah, when you were talking about the dancers, I was like, oh, maybe they'll have like a samba line or something going through, and then doing it all.
That'd be great. Whilst we're going through this, I also just want to say that thanks to everyone who's joined the Wales Women Fan Trust so far. That's obviously the reason we're doing this, is to have an opportunity to talk about the idea that we've got, I guess, to kind of get people to sign up, and we want to have as many members as possible so that we can get as many people supporting different initiatives around Welsh football. Oh, hang on, are we in pot 2 now?
I saw England.
No, okay.
Which is a team I really do want to avoid. I don't want to play England.
Yeah, I could definitely do without that. But yeah, just wanted to mention that because I think we've got some, hopefully got some backing from the FAW to try and kind of put this together. We want to have more visibility for the women's team. We want to have more people who can join us and kind of decide what they think is important to them. We've had people already mentioning like more games in North Wales, better TV coverage. So there's a lot of things, and I would love it if people could go to our website, waleswomenfantrust.wordpress.com, and you can find out more information there, but you can also sign up as well. So you can hopefully kind of join us and be a part of what we're trying to build.
Yeah, because I think it's a really good thing if enough people get behind it, because people clearly love the women's game. They love supporting them, but sometimes we don't really know where to go. Like even today for the UEFA stuff, like I was looking all over Google trying to figure out, okay, where is this even getting, where is it streaming? So I think if more people get involved, it
makes a big difference. So please follow us on Twitter at Trust Wales, or go to Wales Women Fan Trust. .wordpress.com, and I'm going to shut up now because the first pot 2 ball is coming out. So I can't even remember who was in pot A. We're doing
Sweden. So
I would take Sweden.
I would take it.
First opponent for Sweden.
Finland. So sorry, I'm ruining this for you again.
No, it's okay. I kind of like it because then I like my nerves don't have time to get nervous.
So next team out is. This is great. This is great for anyone watching. Scotland.
Okay.
They are with Spain. So I'm glad we've avoided the Spanish a little bit there.
Yeah. Who's group 3? Oh, who's the one from pot 1?
Iceland in pot C. They just showed a thing there and I meant to screenshot. I'm doing a terrible job. Okay. So, I remember E was Denmark. I think this might be it.
No.
Oh, no. So, England are with Austria. So, we've dodged that bullet. I know you were keen to avoid that particular one. So, I think this would be Denmark. So, we would quite like to get pulled here. Come on.
That's it.
Oh.
I heard it through your thing. Dang it.
Sorry. We got the Russians have the Danes.
Okay. All right.
So now, oh God.
Oh, maybe we get Norway.
Norway play Belgium. Oh no. So what's Germany, Netherlands,
And
left.
Italy?
Oh,
no,
Italy. That's true. Yeah. Oh
So-
no.
This just feels weird. It feels like
This is so
what
tense.
punishment? What punishment do you want? Do you want soap in the mouth or?
Switzerland join Italy. So we have got either
Oh,
Germany
God.
or the Netherlands. Okay, so in this case, I want the Netherlands. If it's going
Yeah.
to be a tough game, I want it. I want to be able to have an easy trip.
This is a sucker punch to the gut, man. Get all the way to the end.
We are the last team out. Portugal just got drawn.
I can't tell if that's like a metaphor for something or a prophecy for something. I don't know. I think it's good.
So here we are. Wales have been drawn. I'm going to do a quick screenshot so I remember the groups we go. So it looks like we have the French.
Okay.
I can live with the French.
can live with
Sam
that.
Southall has commented, France, so thanks for watching, Sam. Appreciate that. And is about right.
Yep.
But France is a manageable away trip. You know, there's some good memories there. I can live with that.
Yeah, as for away trips, honestly, I'm excited for that. As for playing France, I'm a little bit more nervous.
Less so.
Yes.
Okay, so we're in pot 3 now. The team we ultimately want to avoid, I think, in pot 3 is probably the Czech Republic, and they haven't come out yet.
Yeah.
So Republic of Ireland are out.
Okay.
Spain and Scotland and
I can't
Ukraine.
tell if I want Northern Ireland though, because remember how like bogey teams work? Like I don't know if that's one of our bogey teams now, because that they have. I mean, we've drawn with them twice, but still, like there's that element. I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean. Oh God, I don't like this anymore. This is not as fun as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so the Czech Republic have come out.
Okay.
In Group C, so at least we don't have to deal with probably I think comfortably the best team in that group.
Yeah, and Republic of Ireland too. They're not one to underestimate. So we don't have them. They know mugs.
They know mugs.
I hope they put that like somewhere on their shirt. We know mugs.
We're no mugs. There you go. Well, that's the first thing we'll sell for the Wales Women Fan Trust is a T-shirt with "We're no mugs" on it.
Oh, we need to get Fee Wales involved. Get her.
100%. Get Hayley involved. We've just the Northern Irish have just come out.
Okay.
So now we're getting down to the end. I think in that case, with the Czech Republic and the Northern Irish out, I'm pretty happy with whatever comes through here. Bosnia. Bosnia, I did actually fancy Bosnia because they were on an iffy run and they haven't come through. So that hasn't happened.
That's actually going to be a decent little pot. Denmark, Bosnia, because like they could take points off each other.
100%.
Some surprises there.
Poland have come out.
Okay, so we still got Serbia, Romania, Slovenia. Is that the 3 left?
I think so.
I'll take those.
Yeah. I quite, a nice little trip to Bucharest. I've always fancied Bucharest, so.
I've been to none of those countries in pot 3 other than Ireland. That is the only one I've been to.
There you are. I've just jinxed it because Romania have just come out of the hat. So apologies, everyone.
Okay, so out of the 2 that are left, which one would you prefer?
I don't know. I think at this point, probably the Serbians. Obviously, now Serbia have just come out. So brilliant. Excellent stuff. This has gone really, really well. So this leaves us with Slovenia.
Okay.
I would take that.
Yeah.
I have driven through Slovenia.
Okay. What do you think?
On my way somewhere. It's very, very pretty.
Okay.
So I would take that, I think.
I've never been to it, and I'm not confident that I could point it directly out on a map. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go to go here. This is the cool part about finally being in Europe or being in the UK and being close enough to go to these countries.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, it's just above Italy, I think. So if you,
that's fun.
yeah, it's very nice, and there's a very nice. This has turned into some sort of holiday show now. Apologies for everyone, but it's there's a really nice lake there, which I'm told has got like beautiful little islands and stuff on the lake.
Oh, I'm 100% in for Slovenia. Okay. France
Tell you
and
what.
Slovenia. I'm excited for this.
There you go. Sorry, we've just been joined, I'm very happy to say, by Laura McAllister. Hello, Laura. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Megan. Hi, Di.
Hey, Laura.
You okay?
Yeah, good. Have you seen who we've got so far?
I've just seen, we've got France and Slovenia.
Yes.
How
are you feeling about
that? France going to be very, very tough.
Yeah.
One of the best countries in the world, clearly, and never mind in Europe. Slovenia, that's not a bad one. I think the girls will be relatively happy with that. I mean, as Gemma Granger said this morning, any team from the first pot was going to be difficult. And actually, I think on balance, I would rather draw France than England or Germany. So, it could be a lot worse. But, any of those teams were going to be tough. But France, I think, probably right up there with the very best. It would have been better to have drawn a Scandinavian country. But it'll give Gemma something to think about for sure.
Yeah, I think there is definitely a positive to that in a way, where there's a strong chance that team is going to go and dominate other teams in the group, and kind of you can fairly rely on the fact that they're going to take points off other people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, France will be one of the favourites come Australia, New Zealand. I mean, I don't think there's any chance they won't get through any group that they were drawn in. So, as you say, given the new format, with runners-up and the intercontinental approach to the last place, I think that's okay. Let's see who the other teams are. But, Slovenia are not the hardest team to come out of pot 3. Yeah. So it's like the men's setup, isn't it? If we draw a very big country as we have with Belgium, one expects them to win, and then we're competing for the runners-up place. But, I think let's look at the other teams first. But we're certainly in with a good shout for a runners-up here, at least.
I think a big part of it as well is that there's a lot of these games in some of the groups where they are quite a long trek. And that's something else I think is important, is we don't have to have big distances. Avoiding Azerbaijan, for example, in pot 4, I think is going to be a big one, in Kazakhstan in pot 5. So I think the fact that Slovenia is quite an easy trip, so to speak, I think makes a big difference.
I think Azerbaijan I think they just got picked. I could be wrong. My eyesight is horrible and I'm staring at my phone.
So they're just drawing our group now.
Greece?
We have Greece, yes.
Okay, that's not bad at all. I mean, I played against Greece back in my day, and I don't think they're one of the countries where we would say there's been massive strategic investment in the women's game yet. So that'll be okay. Easy travel, decent facilities, decent pitches. So that's not bad at all.
Do you know, Laura, where do they play in Greece? Do you know where they generally tend to play?
I would imagine that they move the games around. I mean, a bit like we have, really. I mean, when I played, we played in Naflion, which is where the great fortress is. But we had a friendly, I think, as well in Athens. So I imagine they'd move the games around. But on the mainland, not the islands, I'd imagine. Only Crete would have enough, quality pitches really for training and so on.
Oh, I could definitely do an away day in Crete. Sorry, Megan, go on.
I was going to say, when you played Greece, how did the results turn out? Was it something that we could try to emulate this time around?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to that game, and I've got a feeling it was a draw. I'm trying to remember off the top of my hand. It was in absolutely boiling hot conditions in Naflion. It's kind of in the 80s, which didn't suit the Welsh girls particularly. And I seem to remember the officials were not brilliant either, but some of my old teammates like Claire O'Sullivan and Sue Young and those will remind, and Kath Morgan will remind us of what that was like. But I can remember there were a lot of complaints about the officials, and I've got a feeling it was a draw on a very hard old pitch in Naflion.
Dang.
Well, we'll have to make sure we can go one better this time in that case, and make sure we get the 3 points instead of the draw. So Latvia have just come out now in pot out of the pot 5. So that's the point, actually. That means we only have a 5-team group rather than a 6-team group. Because we're one of the last ones. I've only just realised that. Yeah, so that's. I always think that's a bit of a bonus in that circumstance, because they discount the results of the 6th place team depending on how some of the playoffs and stuff work out. So I always think that's a bonus, that you don't have to deal with people kind of taking the points off you when they do the weird maths situation that they do for the playoffs after.
From a player standpoint, would you prefer a group of 5 or would you prefer a group of 6?
It's difficult to say, isn't it? I mean, it depends where that 6th team is, really. If it involves a lot of travelling, then it's in your interest to really play a friendly rather than a 6th game, because you can get the conditions right for a friendly, get the camp in the right place, and do more technical work that isn't leading just to a competitive game. So like Di said, I'd rather a group of 5, to be honest. I mean, expense wise, it helps as well. You can put the investment into a training camp rather than a game. And looking at those teams, so who we've got Slovenia, Greece,
and France.
Okay, and the last team to come. Yeah, that's not a bad group, to be fair. There's nothing to be. France will be overwhelming favourites, but there's nothing to be fearful of there, really.
Plus, Turkey have just come out, and they were the one team that I wanted to avoid from pot 4, because they had some decent results in the qualifiers. So I'm glad we've missed them. So as a consequence, that means we end up with the other team that I wanted to avoid, which is Kazakhstan.
Well, look, one thing I can tell you about that is that, because I've just come back from the Congress, Turkey are investing heavily in their women's programme. They've just appointed a former male player to head up side. I had a couple of chats with him in Montreux. And
So I was just going to say, I think we actually are. I think they've done it a different way round this time. The first 3 pots are actually already set.
Oh, we've got 6, yeah.
So we do have the 6th.
Oh, okay.
I now take back everything I just said 2 minutes ago. I'm absolutely delighted we have a 6th game. I think it's a real good opportunity for us.
Let's see who we get first.
Exactly. I was just about to say Luxembourg is the team I wanted, because I've never been there before, and that is the first group out. Do you know what? Every time I've said I've wanted someone today.
Yeah, say someone that you don't want, and then hopefully it'll switch.
Let me just double check my notes here. Yeah, I actively want to avoid Armenia. Is the one I actively want to avoid, actually. So, are we going to find out who's come out here?
Armenia.
What? Do you know what? I should be betting on this. This is ridiculous.
You've got insider information, yeah?
Oh God, exactly. This is outrageous. I'm rubbish at predictions. If anyone ever listens to our podcast, they know I'm absolutely terrible at it. So I think Luxembourg was all I wanted. I also do. I'm told that Montenegro is very nice, so I would.
Yeah.
I would take Montenegro. Oh my God.
Is that
it?
Montenegro have just come out of the pot again. This is outrageous. I should have stuck a tenner on this. Teams I didn't want, and I'd have been able to work out the group very easily. I'd have made a fortune, I reckon.
So who's left?
Out of this bottom pot at the moment, Lithuania have just come out, so that leaves Bulgaria and I think Estonia are the 2 left. So I think we'll have one of them. I think I would probably prefer Bulgaria of the 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bulgaria have come out for the other team.
But don't forget that Estonia are managed by Jarmo Matikainen, who was the former Welsh manager. So Jarmo's been out in Estonia, I think I'm right in saying, for about 2 years now. Wow. I spoke to him just before the Congress. So, he'll have done his best to modernise the structure there. But, the women's game is in its infancy. So, again, nothing to be too worried about.
No. So looking at the final group there now, we have France, Wales, Slovenia, Greece, Kazakhstan, and Estonia. Do you know what? With the only thing I don't obviously like, if you get a big team like a Kazakhstan or something like that, France, sorry, that you're always, whether it's them, the Germans, the Dutch, whoever, you're always in for a tough one there, I think. But so I can live with that. Kazakhstan is probably the only one I don't like from there, just because of traveling perspective. We played them
played them,
in the
yeah.
World Cup in the last campaign, didn't we?
Yeah,
Sorry, last World Cup campaign.
So we've
And
got
they
some
were a
intelligence
tough
on
game.
them. Yeah, we've got some
Yeah.
intelligence on the logistics of it. It could be
Yeah,
wrong.
that's true. So what's your thoughts on that overall then, Laura?
Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with that. I mean, I would have preferred a group of 5 for the reasons we said. There's a fair bit of travel there really to the to the east and the Mediterranean, but they're not difficult countries to travel to other than Kazakhstan, and we've got some intelligence on that really. I think Estonia will be competitive, but I suspect they're going to be low in terms of development numbers. Same with Greece. Slovenia could be, the surprise package. I'm not entirely sure where they are at the moment with the women's game, but there's no reason at all why we can't challenge in this group and certainly finish runners up. It's not.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to win the group, but that's what Gemma will be aiming at for sure.
Yeah. I imagine that the other teams are looking at this group and thinking, okay, you've got France up at the top, and then they're probably putting Wales right at that second spot. Like, okay, that's the tough one. So I like where we are a lot.
Well, we are very fortunate that we are about to have some live player reaction as we welcome Tash Harding. Hello, Tash. How are you?
Hey, Tash.
Hiya, Tash.
Good draw.
Yeah.
You happy with it?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just doing an individual, half an hour late.
Hey, don't worry about it. We're glad. We're very grateful that you've joined us. So you're happy with the draw altogether? We've got some great signal going on here.
Yeah.
I think Tash is pretty happy with the draw from her.
I think so.
Yeah.
How you doing, Tash? It's not a bad draw for you, mate.
I'm buzzing. I think it's a good group. I mean, France, but they're not the France that they used to be. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. France are rebuilding, and they've got a lot of talent, but they're not the experienced team. There'll be a couple of girls who they'll miss in that squad.
Are you guys happy?
Yeah, honestly, I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's obviously France are obviously going to be a tough game, but good experience against a big team like that. I think Slovenia, I think it's a nice easy trip in terms of we don't have to go a big distance. Greece will be a nice one. Say that again, Tash.
It's not the greatest signal on the training pitch, is it?
Oh, we've lost her.
Oh,
we've lost her. There you go. She froze at a very unfortunate moment as well.
I think Tash was making a good point though, because France are rebuilding. They've got some players in their 30s now for whom this will be the last major tournament. Some of them are probably already thinking about post-Euro retirement. So whilst they've got a great system and there'll be some lovely young players coming through, they won't have the same experience as some of the greats, that have dominated French women's football. So that's a help too. But they're going to be overwhelming favourites, obviously.
Absolutely.
And do you think being in the Euros might not make them tired, but I mean, it could make them tired? They're coming off the back of a really truncated, obviously, season, and it's a lot of games going on. Now they're going to go straight into the Euros, then go straight into these qualifiers. I guess maybe I'm thinking at it just because I would be exhausted, but I'm sure these players are probably going to start feeling it too.
Yeah, it's helped in some ways, the delay of the Euros, but in other ways it's kind of made it a really congested calendar, isn't it? With qualifiers as well. And, all of the French players will be playing in the Champions League as well, so you've got a lot of games really. Don't forget, it's a bigger Champions League from 22-23. With a lot more money, so there's more competition in every round really. So in that sense, some of the top players who are playing in Champions League clubs, like Olympique Lyonnais and Paris Saint-Germain and so on, they're going to have a heck of a lot of fixtures, which not all of our girls will. We'll only have a handful, or maybe a third of the squad will be involved in Champions League, and we're not in the Euros. I know that I never celebrate that, but it might help us this time. So.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. We've got a good question here. When are the fixtures out? I don't know when they're going to be finalised. The dates
tonight, hopefully tonight
will be tonight.
Yeah,
so that's good news.
The plan is that Gemma and Mark Evans and co will go straight into discussions with the other teams now. And this is my understanding, and they'll hammer out the fixtures straight away because there's no reason to delay really. There's a formula for doing it, so we should know later on today, all being well.
Oh, that'd
And
be
then
great.
we've got some friendlies, what I think early June, because I know the guys play the 2nd and the 5th, but I think Gemma's also got some scheduled around there as well.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Yeah, which because I think Gemma's been keen not just to have a camp, but to have a camp with a fixture, which I think is sensible because she's got to see the girls, in a competitive environment, really. So yeah, I mean, I think we'll know the fixtures tonight, and then everything will be geared towards getting the type of teams that mirror the teams in that group, really. So we'll be looking at another former Yugoslav country, probably one of the Mediterraneans, maybe Cyprus or a team of that kind. And we're going to have to play another one of the big countries, obviously, and it would be in our interest to do it really ahead of playing France.
Yeah,
Would
absolutely.
you want to play one? This might be a silly question, but when we get to play friendlies, obviously we got to go play Canada. Would we want to play a team outside of the ones that were just drawn into all these different pots, or would we want to keep it within the pot?
No, I mean, do you mean play outside European countries?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd imagine Gemma will look at teams that set up the same way as France, that are non-European, and try and kind of replicate a top 5, top 8 country really globally. It's often more difficult to arrange those fixtures, because there are different windows, with leagues and so on. But having said that, there's no reason why we couldn't play another country, South American, American, North American, however it works really. But yeah, she'll be looking to replicate those types of teams, I imagine. Another Baltic country. So if we've got Estonia, we might look to play Latvia or Lithuania in a friendly. It's nuances, isn't it, really, to try and replicate what you're up against.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So the windows for when the games are already out, I think. So the 13th to the 21st of September, 18th to 26th of October, 22nd to the 30th of November, 4th to the 12th of April. So a big gap in between there, ahead of there being a break for the Euros, and then we finish off August over September, and the playoffs start in October. So it's a long old process this time around with a break for the Euros in between.
Yeah. I like that we've got a break to really get things going, because Gemma, again, like, she's just come in, and yet there's already that amount of progress that was made over the week when we played Canada and Denmark. You could see it from the Canada to the Denmark game. So I think if we've got this much time between now and those qualifiers, I'm really excited to see what Gemma kind of comes up with and creates with this team.
Yeah.
I think in that gap as well, I remember talking about it previously, we were kind of worried about a loss of possible momentum if something had come up there. But the last time around, obviously, it was when Jess Fishlock hurt her knee. So actually, having that window of time actually helped her recover a little bit. So there's always that as well, I suppose, as the flip side, that you might lose momentum, but equally it's a good opportunity for everyone to kind of recuperate and get themselves back if needs be.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to mention again, obviously the Wales Women Fan Trust, which is why we're doing this. We're very grateful that you've joined us, Laura, as well. I think it's something that is important that happens to kind of keep pushing in terms of building visibility, I guess, for the Wales team. So I think, obviously, I'm not just getting you, I don't want to put you on the spot and just say something's great for the sake of it, but do you think it's important that we do have something like this to kind of push the game on a little bit?
Oh yeah, yes, for sure. I think you guys have done a brilliant job, and lots of other people as well, in raising the kind of profile of the women's game, and treating it equally and on a par with the men's game. And I think this is only going to grow, because there's so much fan demand now, especially after COVID, when it's going to be harder to have full stadia. There's a real demand to be able to take your family to see a game, and the women, play good football, as we've seen, and it's an attractive product. So yeah, I mean, the more we can, really promote the game and market it amongst the base of fans that we have in Wales already, then all the better, because I think there's capacity there, and there's capacity amongst fans who don't go and see Wales currently, who might actually prefer the women's game. So I think definitely the more we can do, these girls deserve it, to be fair. You look at Tash and Jess and Helen and Sophie, and the players for whom this might well be their last qualifying campaign. They deserve every bit of help we can give them along the way, really. And as you said, Di, there's some great away trips there. You know, I mean, Greece, if we're allowed to travel, you know, there's Greece, there's Estonia. I mean, they're great. Slovenia, great places to go. France, obviously.
Yeah, no, I think that, and I think that's one of the big things about this is that it would be great if we could kind of get the similar levels of support. I know it's easier said than done, but for the men's team as we do for the women's team as we do the men's team. Sorry, because I think there's one thing that's massively different about men's football and women's football, aside from the obvious stuff, is there's a real connection, a genuine connection between players and fans, which I think has been lost in the men's game a lot. And I think that's something that, you know, looking at, I've got a friend of mine is a parent, and his daughter is kind of tentatively showing an interest in football. So the fact that he could take her to a game, after the game, you know, the players come over and chat to people, and the fact that his daughter could meet one of her favorite players at an early age, I think is such a powerful thing. And I think the more everyone can do to kind of harness these things is going to make such a big impact for us. And so hopefully we can do that.
And when Wales were playing Denmark in Cardiff City Stadium, I'd gotten to go to the game, and I'd gotten to see the men play, obviously, in the weeks before. And with all the fans not there at either one, the atmospheres relied on what was happening on the pitch. And to be honest, I had more fun at the women's game. I had so much more fun at that game. I was jumping up and down. I was screaming. I was supposed to be unbiased, and I was clearly not. I mean, it was incredible. And
I agree. Yeah. It was great. It was an atmosphere, wasn't it, in a weird kind of way? Because I was at the Denmark game as well, and you know, you could almost feel it emanating from the pitch, really, and from the dugout, you know. And I have to say, I think Gemma has really tapped into that kind of Welsh spirit, you know, because this is going to sound I don't want to sound too critical of our neighbours, but you know, the thing with England is, you know, you've got everything laid on a plate for you from day one. You know, from the time you're a talented player at 10 until the time you pull on the senior shirt, you know, everything is easy, really. For us in Wales, it's not like that, you know. I mean, it's better now, obviously, than it was when I was playing, but it's still not easy for the players, you know. And I think she's been kind of pleasantly surprised by our sort of natural fighting spirit, because, you know, you'll always get that Wales team, you know, we'll everything on the pitch and we'll do everything we can. But what she's going to align with that is using the technical prowess of some of these players, which I don't think we maximised last time round. You know, we didn't play to the strengths of these players, and we didn't play sufficiently offensively. You saw against Denmark, a little bit against Canada, but much more against Denmark, that Gemma's going to set us up to keep the ball, keep possession. To, you know, okay, against big teams, we're going to have to, you know, attack on the break, but against teams in the middle, we'll be an attacking team, you know, and align that with our real fighting spirit. And, you know, we're going to be a difficult team to play against for sure, you know, and that's great in a qualifying group.
yeah, putting together that midfield three that she had, I think it was Haz, Jess, and Sophie. Like, I love Sophie in midfield, but like you said, keeping the ball, that's all on Sophie. Sophie, the whole time, she was just that little conduit, and everything flowed through her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's ridiculous. Some of the little moves, and some of her passing range as well, I think is almost unfair. In fact, that she's that good. I think her passing range, especially.
I mean, I think as well, it freed up the wing backs and the full backs, depending how you set up, to just, you know, be more offensive. You saw Rachel Rowe and people, you know, and Rhiannon, who were able to kind of bring the ball out from the back and then deliver a decent cross. You know, we just didn't have that really previously because they weren't set up to do it. And I think it scuppered, you know, it sort of suffocated the talent that we've got in the Welsh side, really. You know, if you set up to get a draw, then often you lose, you know, and if you set up cautiously to win, you'll often get a draw against Northern Ireland. And we've got to move on from that now, you know, and I think Gemma will be able to capitalise on that for sure. Listen, I'm going to have to go, guys. I'm going to have to get off because I'm doing some teaching at past. But it's great to join you.
Thank you for coming. We massively appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure, and good luck with the venture. I'm sure it'll generate, you know, lots of support because there's definitely a untapped market out there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We hope so. Thanks a lot.
Great stuff. Nice to see you all.
Thanks, Laura.
Bye,
you
Laura.
too.
Okay, guys. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
She was the very first person that I ever got to meet in Wales, like to do football. I'd gone to the Wales Hungary qualifier for a school assignment that I was doing on Welsh Football Fans for Independence. Saw Anne Ramsey score the 2 goals, heard everyone scream that it was Kiefer Moore. I got so confused because I didn't actually know who the players were at the time. So I was like, wow, Kiefer Moore is really small. I could not understand it. And then the next day, next day, I went to go and talk to Laura McAllister about Welsh independence and sort of the the political scene going on. And we talked for about an hour and a half about Welsh football, and I was enamored. And I owe almost everything to me being in my career to that woman right there.
Yeah, she's fantastic. We had her on the pod maybe, well, I'm just trying to think now, probably 18 months or so ago. And the story she told, and I'm sure told you similar, the story she told about how she basically fought to set up the Wales women's team, and you know, with obviously a group of other people as well. But to do that, I think, is an amazing achievement. I think she's someone who's, relatively speaking, almost an unsung hero in Welsh football. I know she you know, people do know who she is, but I think she's someone who has given a hell of a lot to Welsh football.
Yeah, agreed completely.
I think as we are, we've been here for 45 minutes. We've got the draw. I think maybe it is time to kind of wrap things up. Just wanted to say thanks to everyone who's watched this. I know some people are going to watch this on replay. So thanks for you guys to watching this back as well. Thanks to Laura McAllister for joining us. Thank you to Tash Harding for temporarily joining us. We had some technical issues. She's messaged me on the side to say that she can't get back. There's some problems. So thank you for trying, at least, Tash. And
for showing off her excitement. That was good.
Exactly. We got the crux of whether she was happy about it, I suppose. So, you know, we can use that. Obviously, big thanks to you, Megan. But I just wanted to say, well, just one more time, everyone who's watched this and has an interest in Wales women's football, please go to waleswomenfantrust.wordpress.com or follow us on Twitter @TrustWales and get involved and tell us what you think you want to happen in Welsh football. And that is absolutely our goal and our aim moving forward.
Yep, exactly. Everyone do it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we'll hopefully see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.